welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who took a leap of faith and decided to join me for this jumping episode. It's Nick Rehack.
Hi.
You were in the air when I said that.
I was hanging on the ledge. I had to jump back up and then get to the mic.
You were in the simulator?
I was in the simulator. I was, whoa. I'm like, oh no, Mark just said my name. I need to respond.
How much time do you spend every day in the jumping simulator?
More than you would think. And I'm not going to lie, more than I want to admit.
Now, when you
It's at least an hour, I'll say that.
In this simulator, when you jump, do you crash on concrete and smash it, or do you leave a light tread? If you jumped on my roof in the simulator, would you go through it? Or would you just jump right off of it? You know what I mean?
I think there'd be a bit of a bevel in there. There'd be just a slightest little dent, and you wouldn't notice it unless you're at just the right angle, and you're like, wait, did he a little ding in my roof?
Oh, man.
But it also depends on my mood. Sometimes you just want to crash into something. You know, you just want to jump into the ball pit willy-nilly.
You go full Venom.
Yeah, you go. Yes, you do.
That's what I love about Venom in those movies, because whenever Venom jumps around on rooftops, he just destroys everything. And it just makes me happy, because he's just such a maniac, and he does so much damage to homes. And I love it. And even it's unnecessary damage. He's just all for it. It makes me happy.
Stuff that's even avoidable, too. He's like, you know what? You only live once.
Yep. Bricks falling on people. It's fine.
We've seen Home Alone 2. They survive.
Have you ever seen the movie Outside Providence?
I cannot say that I have.
It's a 90s film with Sean Hoddesy, Alec Baldwin, and Amy Smart. And I thought about it the other day because I did a Just Friends episode. But there's a line in it where Sean is talking to somebody. He's like, yeah, my brother, he's in a wheelchair because when we were younger, he had a freak accident. We were playing touch football, and he fell off the roof. And I just love that line. Yeah, he had a freak accident. Exactly, he had a freak accident. We were playing touch football, and he fell off the roof. Just makes me so happy. Like, I've remembered that line since the 90s. It's just obviously since the 90s, but it's a beautiful line.
It catches you off guard. It also lets you know if someone's paying attention to what you're actually saying or not, too.
It's a good, I know every joke is written, but I like that, like, you have to pay attention to it. Like, you actually have to sit there and absorb what just happened. And I love that about it.
Classic.
But falling off of roofs aside, I brought you in today. We've talked jet skis, we've talked Purple Rain, we've talked Tron, we've talked soundtracks, we've talked bathroom fights. So now, in the entire cinematic history of jumps, I mean, just jumping has always happened. I mean, A Trip to the Moon, there's jumping around. In The Great Train Robbery, there's jumping around. Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton. People have been jumping since the dawn, jumping in cinema since its invention. I mean, remember that scene with Nosferatu when it was doing parkour?
Yeah, it's the way he did the little tuck. I think he's the one that invented that as you land, you tuck and roll and spring up onto your feet. I'm fairly certain that Max Schreck is like the guy for that.
Did you know that District B13, the French action film, is a remake of Nosferatu?
Is it really?
Yeah.
It felt familiar at times. I'm like, God, I know I've seen this before, but I thought it was like a weird deja vu, or like, you see some scenes in foreign films that American directors have kind of parroted, and I'm like, something's not right here. But now that you say it, the glass is shattered.
Yeah, not a lot of people know that, but Max Schreck, like you said, first parkour artist in cinema history.
Yeah. Did he get the honorary Oscar for that? I feel like.
Him and his stunt team.
I feel like he got an honorary.
Yeah, because they did the wire work for everything. Because there were a couple jumps where the line producers were like, no. So then they had to invent this system of ropes, and they really had to really do some crazy rotoscoping to get it out of there.
I imagine,
with animation
especially back then.
Yeah, and so you watch the amazing martial arts films that took place in Hong Kong. You watch The Matrix, which we're going to talk about later. That all stems from the wire work that Max Schreck and his team did on the movie called Jumpin' City, Berlin, which was released in 1933, I believe. After it was delayed for a couple of years because there were some problems with the producers. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was just lots of jumps, lots of parkour, and the Hays Code got a hold of it and really tore it to shreds. So
you know what? I do remember that because when they filmed it, they didn't use sound. And then when it was kind of in that production hell, they needed to go back and redub it.
Yeah. And not the best dubbing.
No. The horn honks, like the bicycle horn honks whenever he leapt, that felt weird. But, I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
Yeah, it was like squeak, squeak, conk, conk.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, good Foley work, right? I'm not going to blame the Foley artists, but I will blame the idea of it.
Yeah. I mean, efficiently and expertly just crafted and maneuvered and executed in every way, shape, and form. It is crisp. It is clear. In all my hours and years of watching film, I've never heard a better honk in my life.
Yeah.
But still a very weird choice.
You know what's crazy? They actually had to invent the rubber to make the honker for that movie.
Really?
Yeah. So they ordered some rubber from like a famous plant in South America. They brought it over. They went 8 different tests. Some sounded too nasally, some sounded too farty, and they eventually found the right one, and that's history right there. That's the Academy Honorary Academy Award.
Yeah, I'd like to imagine that the Warner Brothers, like the original Warner Brothers, are sitting around testing these horns, and one of them just says, "That's too farty," and they're like, "Yeah, you're right."
They're like,
no, sounds like yesterday's lunch. How about this one over here?
No, too much like a goose.
Yeah. And then it's filled with goose feathers. That's why. Take a couple feathers out and we'll see.
Well, have you seen the movie Fly Away Home? That's what they used for that movie.
All the extras.
It's a deep pull from Anna Paquin and Jeff Daniels.
That was a very deep pull. As soon
Sometimes
as
I
you
don't
said
know
it
what
in my
things-
head, I'm like, Jeff Daniels in a cart shaped like a goose, right? So, and I was waiting for you to name a couple actors, and I'm like, okay, good, we're on the same page.
Yeah, sometimes I can't remember where I put my phone, but I can pull that out.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Well, I mean, stuff stays with you a little bit more. Phones don't have that emotional impact that film does.
Yeah, I remember hearing that honk, and that's what led me down my research.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of geese.
Huge goose fan. The band Goose, the animal Goose.
Yep.
Big fan all around. You ever listen to Goose?
I've never listened to Goose, but I do know that the 2021 film Benedetta features a really great goosing scene that incites a lot of problems.
I keep hearing about this film, and I think I need to watch it or find a way to watch it, because anytime someone talks about it, there's always a flare of positivity around it. I'm like, okay, I need to see it. Not so much like you want to avoid this. It's like, hey, you know what? Maybe check this out. And I'm like,
Verhoeven.
Yeah, okay.
It's like the tone. It's very dramatic. It's very earnest, but then there's also poop gags, and it's just very it's just Verhoeven through and through. It's just
very farty.
Yeah, very farty. They use the horn for it. It's just some great jumps in it. There's a jump in it, but it's quite morbid. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how you watch a Paul Verhoeven movie nowadays and go, oh man, that's bad. Like that's bad. Like it's so bad it's good. Like Verhoeven knows what he's doing. Like Showgirls, he filmed it like that. It didn't just turn out like that. Like Verhoeven knows what he's doing. Rolling Stone said it's the cycle of Verhoeven, where every 10 years someone goes, wait, that movie was good. Yeah. All right, so let's get the jumping. How's that sound? You want to talk about jumps?
Yes, sir.
I just need to get that riffing out of my system, man. It's been a long time since you've been on here, so that was good.
It felt great.
I mean, sometimes if it doesn't feel great, I'll just stop it and move on, but we were working it. I feel good. Now I'm patting myself on the back. It's fine.
It was like coming home.
By Philip Phillips?
A yard full of geese.
Philip Phillips or Michael Bublé singing it?
Michael Bublé.
Okay. Are you a Bublé fan?
I don't want to say ambivalent. If I hear it, I'm pleased. If I don't hear it, I'm not disappointed either. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I like when he belts, but I don't like his kind of half mouth open singing, like his crooning. I don't like that.
Okay.
I like it when he's just belting a song out.
He's going for it.
Yeah, like when he's just going. But then there's I don't know. He's I don't know. I don't like it.
It feels a little lazy.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you can sing, and you're not. It's like watching Jordan walk up the court in his prime.
It's like, come on, man.
Jordan, you can
in
run.
His prime. Let me see. Just do something. A little hitch in that giddy up.
Yeah. So what we're doing today, we each pick 4 jumping scenes, and it's jumping. We wanted to largely avoid kind of jumping from a diving board into a pool. We wanted to kind of do iconic jumps that have some weight to them, some some meat that people love. And, you could be bungee jumping, or it could be a beautiful scene from jumping from a car onto another car. And I actually sent you my list, but I mixed it up. And one of my jumps that I took out of my list, Nick, but I want to talk about real quick, is one from Cliffhanger, which is in the trailer, and they tested it for audiences. But the jump Stallone covers about 70 feet. Obvious, I'm exaggerating, but he nails this incredibly long jump. And test audiences watched it, and they saw him complete this jump, and the test scores went way down.
Really?
Yeah, because they're like, there's no way. Like that jump put such a sour taste in everyone's mouths that they had to edit it a different way.
How?
Well,
That's all I can say is how. If you saw a jump, wouldn't you be excited? Like, get it, he nailed it, yeah.
I mean, it is a movie called Cliffhanger.
That's true.
But the jump, I remember because I was doing research for the Dwayne Johnson jump in Skyscraper. There's some wonderful, Jackie Chan's done some great jumps. Matt Damon in the Bourne trilogy's done some great jumps. Indiana Jones,
he has.
Raiders of the Lost Ark, excellent jumper. But then I researched this Cliffhanger jump, and I'm like, that's crazy. I was like, why is that not in the movie? And then I found out on the commentary that's why. Because it just lowered the test scores way too much.
That doesn't seem right. Did maybe somebody miswrote, or was it in like a fresh, wet pen and it got smeared somehow?
Well, I mean, the jump was so insane. Because, listen, Cliffhanger is kind of a grounded movie, right? I mean, the lady dies in the beginning because something doesn't hold.
Yeah.
Stallone does hang on to things, but it's quite grounded. Like, it's absurd. There's a helicopter fight that's an upside-down helicopter on the side of a mountain, but there's no, like, superhuman heroics.
Right.
But that jump, like, imagine in Skyscraper if Dwayne Johnson jumped, like, 100 yards. Like, that would take you out of the movie. You couldn't...
Yeah.
So it blew up the test scores, so they took it out. So that's my one jump I excluded from this.
Oh,
just wanted to let you know.
All right.
Well, do you want to start us off with a jump that we can talk about?
Yeah. I want to start out with one that I really dig, and that's the Halo jump from the Godzilla film of 2014, the Gareth Edwards directed one. I believe it was featured in the trailer too.
Oh yeah.
But there's something about this jump, the lead up to it, and how all of a sudden there's just no noise. Like, it's just the air. And then you have the very creepy and intense, I don't even know how to describe it, but like these choral, I guess maybe wobbles. The same kind of eerie sound that you get from 2001: A Space Odyssey whenever the monolith is around. It's that same style as these guys are just jumping through. And what adds is as they fly past Godzilla fighting the Muto, they just catch glimpses of the might and the terror and the size. It's not like they're just flying by and looking at it and we see them in the distance. Like, they're just right there watching it happen in front of their faces. And it's terrifying. It's cool. I would love to skydive one time, nowhere near a Godzilla fight, but it's just a really cool scene.
Oh, no, I love it. And it actually made me learn that it's called a high altitude, low opening jump. So I'm very happy that I learned what a Halo jump is now. So I was like, why is it a Halo jump? Are they in a circle? Like, what is going on? Why is it called a Halo jump?
Men chanting?
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I watched the breakdown of this. The director did a breakdown, and they did it in like LA and France. There's green screen. There's actual jumping. There's Aaron Taylor Johnson held by a rig in a studio. The amount of like all CGI characters, actual skydivers. The amount of work, and you know what's crazy? They filmed these skydivers just going towards an empty, like a perfectly beautiful day, but then they cut them out and then added all the digital background. And it's just crazy. It's such a beautiful trailer moment, though, Nick, because Godzilla made tons of money, and yeah. I guarantee you, in the trailer, you see that moment and you feel the scope, you feel the mystery, you feel the score, the like thundering wind, and it's just such a cool way to like show but not really show. So I dug that you picked this one because it's an important jump in cinema.
Yeah, and it kind of shifts the tone a little bit. We go from this like kind of